the open bar. We come at it with the hot takes, the hot sandwiches, and
and Rush just starts the feed mid sentence talking about sandwiches
and the hot personalities of Rich Man Russ. Sandwiches. I hear someone echoey AF.
Mid sentence talking about sandwiches.
Who is that? Stop it. Who's echoey right now?
Who's echoey right now? It's me.
It wasn't you. Who is it?
I really hope it's not me. This could be bad.
I don't.
Okay. I think it stopped.
Okay. Well,
A-class podcasting.
We almost had to shut down the show and start over. Good thing I started the broadcast before we tested that. Hey, everyone. Welcome into the open bar. Here on time. Literally, I think we literally start like at about 8:45 every week, or 9:45 Eastern for y'all Eastern fools out there. Which I think I'm almost up against an entire team. Oh no, I think we got 3 versus 2. The CST versus the EST. I think we're riding tonight in favor. Welcome though, every Tuesday. Besides last Tuesday, and then every other Tuesday, we're here, we're live, and we do things, and we talk about football, and we're open about it, and it's also a bar, and we talk. And my co-host, his name is J Mike, at J Mike Check. Dude, what's up?
Bro, it's been a minute. I mean,
how many minutes in 2 weeks?
You're the math teacher. Why are you asking me these things?
These are things I don't know. Okay.
You're back in school. My wife's back in school. The girls are back in school. Football season's here. I feel like I'm just a mess of anticipation. I don't even know what to do with myself. What is it? Less than 48 hours out from game numero uno?
I just keep thinking about how every Wednesday is just going to be so awful for waivers. I can't stop thinking.
Many seconds.
Rich Man Russ, you got us. All right. So it's been about 604,800 minutes since we've last seen you. Thank you for joining us.
I think that was seconds.
That
was seconds.
That was seconds?
Yeah. Hold on. Did you say it's been a minute? Okay, then it's.
You did say it. We didn't say it's been a second, Rich.
I don't listen when J Mike talks. It's okay. It's in my contract.
Look, man, join the club, man. It's about it's at least a household strong, so it's good. No problem.
We have 3 guests tonight. One of them has been here before while I was not here. I heard that he was good looking, can confirm. And he also knows some things about minutes and seconds. Rich Man Russ, what it do, baby boo?
I got what? I don't think anybody's ever said those words to me before.
Good Lord.
I've never known Russ to be like lost for words. That was a moment in life. Oh my goodness.
I'm just gonna sit in silence for the rest of the show. You guys talk.
All right.
You had nothing. Oh wow.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, fellows.
Now you just got to talk ye old English from now
on. Okay. 2 newcomers. Okay. We've got the Stompy. I always want to say Stimpy, like Ren and Stimpy. Every time I look at it, he created a show sheet for us tonight, which I don't even know if it was genuine or not, but nonetheless, dude, thanks for making one, and we'll certainly follow it out of respect.
Listen, it reminded me of, when like a newcomer on a hunt, we have to go snipe hunting. It's kind of like one of those. We got to break you in a little bit. And by the way, Stimpy was one of the derivations of my nickname in college, so don't worry about that.
Very good. Well, okay. Elaborate for sure, because we definitely don't talk about football here.
Well, so without getting too much into detail, Stompy started as my nickname, and then turned into Stimpy, and then one was and I hope this is rated PG-13, rated R, whatever. One was Stump Dick. So
hello.
That with an underscore or
No.
Twitter rejected that handle.
Oh man.
Okay, so would you like us to refer to you as Stompy, Stimpy, or Mr. The last one?
You can call me Stompy.
Okay. All right.
Or you can call me any of those three. I'll probably respond.
Fair enough. Good to have you on, my man. Travis, last seen on the Grab Bag Fantasy Pod, and I think that is literally the last podcast that you've done, right? That you appeared on. So welcome back.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Before the show, when you were like, oh, look, you were like, I don't know if you were kind of narrating yourself, like looking for the dollar sign, just so you could say that I was straight out of Cashville.
What up?
Oh my god.
Jay Mike gets it.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god. Yeah, Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I am now. Straight out of Cashville, you know. But glad to be on the show and just just hang out on the open bar with you guys. It's week 1. Let's get to football.
I figured you would be the best person to say straight out of Cashville.
Yes.
Straight out of Cashville.
I'm here for that.
Yes. No, very happy to have you on. We typically try to have one celebrity each week, and this week we got 3. So take that, Twitter.
That was cute.
Yeah. It's all love here. Football, it does start in a couple days. Interesting. What's the first? I know it's always the Super Bowl champion that usually plays the first game. So the Eagles, right? Who do they play?
Yeah. Battle
Falcons.
of the Birds.
Falcons,
Yeah.
Eagles and Falcons.
The Dirty Birds.
Okay.
Nick
Foles.
I was going to say, can we revise history real fast?
Yeah.
So Julio Jones catches that touchdown in the back of the end zone on, what was it, 4th down?
Mm-hmm.
And where do we stand now? I mean, how different is everything at this point?
I think we're looking at the Patriots as a new champions or repeat
I think the Falcons
champions.
go get their revenge.
I was about to say, do the Patriots double dip on the Falcons and just like work them again? That would be so sad.
I mean,
Just
the
with
Giants
Steve
did
Sark-
theirs.
No,
to
the
Patriots.
Falcons
It's
would get a
only right.
56-point lead and then lose.
That's what's the offensive coordinator's name for the Falcons?
Sarkisian.
Sarkisian.
That's Sarkisian saying, "Look here, anything you can do, I can do better." You want to blow a lead, Shanahan? I'll show you how to blow a lead. Sorry, continue, Gabe. You were being productive.
I'm not really. I mean, I was in a super flex draft last night, and my buddy and I were discussing whether to draft Carson Wentz or not. And the bench spots are very limited. You can really only have 3 offensive players, I guess, on your bench. And long story short, would have to have benched Carson Wentz and put in like some other offensive player instead of a QB. So I just didn't feel the need to draft him because I don't think that he's going to play for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. Do y'all feel that way? Or is it, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it being just 1 week.
It's only been 8 months since I think he tore his ACL, which means it's supposed to be a year's long recovery. And even though that's getting shorter and shorter, it's still only been 8 months. I think that dude's probably at least got 3 to 4 that he'll miss before he comes back.
Oh, wow.
It makes me sad because I do have, actually, that's a lie. I traded my only share of him away. So no, whatever. Take your time.
I just don't. With the arms race that took place in the NFC this year, particularly with the defensive lines, Sheldon Richardson to the Vikings, Sue to the Rams, the Eagles. I forgot who they ended up getting. Somebody pretty awesome. Oh, I think they got one of the Bennett's, right? Michael Bennett.
Yep.
And so just, I mean, the NFC is
Mac.
not to mention, good freaking grief. The NFC is going to be so much fun to watch this year. And I'm just really, really excited to see 2 teams that I think could be playing for the conference crown week 1.
Now, if there's only 2 teams in the AFC that could actually battle it out.
Hey, don't play down the Broncos, okay? Just stop it.
Oh,
boy. We didn't say any names, Stompy. Someone's a little testy this evening.
I'm a little testy.
I'm talking about the Titans and the Patriots, right?
And testes.
Oh. And testes, yes.
Little underscore Stumpy's a little testy.
Balls.
But yeah, I mean, with the Eagles, I think it's just one of those things where Foles showed enough last season at the end of the season that they can wait a little bit on Wentz, and maybe it is only 2 to 4 weeks, but I could see him missing the first month, as well as Alshon, if they're going to be playing well, because that defense is still phenomenal.
Yeah, no Alshon too. So it's an interesting team. I've been seeing Alshon go very, very late in drafts. I know he's going to miss the first 2 games, but I'm pretty okay getting him in like 10th, 11th round as like wide receiver 50 off the board or something. I mean, even missing 2 games, he could still finish top 30 pretty reasonably, unless Aguilar's that dude. Nah.
You mean Mike Wallace? That's what you mean, right?
Right. What is this? What's with this all of a sudden Mike Wallace craze that everyone's going on?
Best ball.
Let's just talk about his career. I mean, he's never had less than 39 catches ever. And the only 2 bad seasons he ever had were on the Vikings, the 2015 Vikings, no less. And then his rookie year. I mean, outside of that, he's pretty much a 50, 60, 70 catch guy. So, I mean, he can plug in and be productive. I'm not saying, oh my gosh, Mike Wallace at age 4,000 is going to be, something to get excited about. But I think he's going to be a safer play with a little bit more upside than we might have given him credit for. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, I just haven't heard his name in months. And then the past week, every podcast is like, yo, I got the down low. Mike Wallace. And it's just like, I'll just pass on the situation until all of them are back. Or I'm going to play Aguilar no matter what.
And I think Ertz should be fine too.
Oh,
Ertz has been falling in drafts too. Like I've seen Graham and even Rudolph go ahead of him. I just don't really. I don't really get that.
What's the likelihood that the Eagles are an incredibly disappointing fantasy team this year?
Very likely.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it happens after every Super Bowl, unless you're the Patriots. all the players seem to, regress a little bit. Cam Newton came down to earth. Kelvin, I guess.
Seahawks made it back. They just, shat the bed in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But the fantasy-wise, they were fine. This year, they're going to be awful, but it's just it's such a weird situation to win the Super Bowl, and now they didn't win with their starting quarterback, but their starting quarterback's not there. Their quote unquote number 1 wide receiver is not going to be playing in the beginning. And I mean, Wentz was playing at a ridiculous pace in the first place last year, so you have to assume he's not going to keep that up anyway. So
it's a team full of people that we've been like, it's almost like we've come full circle on all of these people, right? So Carson Wentz comes out as a rookie, he's not great, and then he sets the world on fire, and now he's hurt. Okay, great. So we got Nick Foles, who's Nick Foles, goes on, becomes the man in the Super Bowl, and looks like garbage in the preseason. Whatever, it's preseason. You can take with what you will. Jay Ajayi, everyone loves him. He goes he kind of falls out of favor in Miami. He's in Philadelphia, doesn't do everything that people want him to be. He's not the RB1 that everyone wanted. And all of a sudden, we're looking Alshon Turk, Mike Wallace, and we're like, what is this? I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think of Philadelphia. It should be rich.
Foles is on that Joe Flacco trajectory.
Damn. I mean, I don't know what you mean by that, but it can't be a good thing.
He had that he had the 2012 Super Bowl win, and then everybody was like, "Oh, he's elite. Joe Flacco's elite with his gummy bears." And then he just kind of no.
Who's the, excluding the quarterbacks, who's the one player on the Eagles that you love to have on your dynasty team?
Dynasty.
Zach Ertz, probably.
Aguilar.
Yeah, I mean, I
Goddard,
have a lot
I
of
think.
Aguilar and Ertz.
Ertz, I hate tight ends. I won't pay up for the expensive ones. So Aguilar is
Yeah.
nice and cheap, and if they stay smart and keep him in the slot, then he will produce. But that's also hoping they stay smart with all of these hurt people.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that he's necessarily a buy. Ertz. I mean, I'd just rather already have him.
Oh, don't get me wrong. If cost didn't matter, I would be taking Ertz.
Yeah.
Has Wentz gone down in Superflex Dynasty yet? Because I know that he was like the number 1 or 2 guy, 3-4 months ago, but he has to have fallen by now, right? A little bit.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think still up there.
Yeah, I think he's still one of the first ones taken off the board.
Jeez.
Yeah. He's still pretty much top 5 locked in.
I feel like he had ascended.
I understand Dynasty being the long run, but
it almost feels like people had ascended him like to numero uno status, which was
he was the number 2 quarterback in the Dynasty Trades HQ Listeners League, which is a 16-team Superflex, which I do not recommend, by the way. Holy hell. Yeah. I'm like, I'm gonna fade quarterback, and then by the 3rd round, they're all gone.
and you got Case Keenum as your number 1 dude.
I did not play that.
Me too.
Before the draft ended, Josh Rosen was my number 1 quarterback.
Oh,
Yeah, I did some trading.
Ew-wee. Yeah, that's pretty gross.
111, Carson Wentz went off. Oh, but it was Shane, so you don't know if that's real or not.
Shout out to Shane. I thoroughly enjoy that man. He crazy. I like it. Real quick, just a quick shout out to the chat. Few of the folks in here. Kind of light today. I guess everyone's still maybe hungover from the holiday, perhaps. I don't know. First lady of the open bar, Casey. What up, Casey? Head head honcho at DHH. Tyler Gunther. What up, Tyler? Kyle LeBrecht of the Dynasty Dummies. What's happening? And Delco Dan. Delco Dan drops in.
Hey.
What up, Dan? So before we totally leave this Thursday night game, does everyone believe in the bounce back of the Falcons? Yes or no?
yes.
Bounce back. I don't think they'll suck as bad. Does that count as bouncing back?
Yes, it does.
Okay, then yeah, I believe in it.
Yep.
I think they're definitely due for a touchdown positive regression at the very least.
Yeah, I mean, everything surrounding Matt Ryan points towards him having a bounce back here. I mean, there were just some fluky things that happened to him last year. So he really wasn't, just god awful compared to his MVP season. If you really if you take out some isolated weird incidents. So yeah, I'm all about that. And
he kind of plays the San Francisco Giants card of every other year winning the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
Every other year he's a QB1. So this is his year.
This is his year. Oh my gosh. Anywho, can we real quick? Is anyone scared for Le'Veon Bell?
Yes, I actually am writing a start sit, and I said to sit Le'Veon Bell at least week 1 because last season he had his worst. He came back with 9 games to go till their opening game, and he had 13 touches for like 47 total yards. And he's still not back. And how far out are we? Like 6 days now. So at least for week 1, I don't like him. We'll see if he actually does show up for week 1.
Well, he said he was showing up tomorrow, right? Or at least that's what Twitter says.
One of his teammates said that.
Oh, I don't read articles, man. I read headlines.
Pro Football Talk just about an hour ago posted that the Steelers appear ready to start James Conner this week, even if Le'Veon Bell reports. If you have Le'Veon Bell on any of your teams, are you scared that he's not a top 5 back? Because you're pretty much banking on him being that since, I don't know, the last, 4 years, perhaps, something like that. Are you scared at all?
I would be. After
you mean just for this year?
Season.
Yeah, let's talk this season, and we can go beyond. But yeah, for this year.
No, I think he's awesome.
Not really. Yeah, I mean, so let's just say the first 2 weeks he starts kind of slow, and he has another 47 yards from scrimmage game, and then he backs it up with another 47 yards from scrimmage game. I still think he comes back to form and ends up being a top 5 back when it counts.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is with his 400 touch season, coming off of a 400 touch season, because there seems to be a loss in efficiency after 400 touch seasons. There seems to be higher risk for injury after 400 touch seasons. So I'm just wondering if that's going to affect him, especially not going into camp.
This is his second year under the tag, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. He should have played the Khalil Mack card a couple years ago, going into that last year, needing the extension and then requesting trade, making it all happen and whatever. So this is on you, Le'Veon.
He also didn't have the distinct pleasure of dealing with John Gruden instead of Tomlin and the Rooneys.
Oh my God. Just dumpster fire there in Oakland.
You should be happy.
Very.
You guys don't like what Gruden's doing?
So they went from the 19th oldest to the oldest team in the league.
And then trade their star stud edge rusher or linebacker, whatever you want to call him, for picks because they don't want to give him money. So you're rebuilding or you're getting old?
My biggest, the most confusing part of it was they traded for 2 wide receivers, and then they cut one of those wide receivers and then traded the other away. And I don't really understand what they were doing with that one. So,
wheels up, Ryan Switzer. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I mean, you look at their defense, and it's basically just Carl Joseph now, and then the ghost of Bruce Irvin.
Yeah,
the ghost of Bruce Irvin. He was okay last year, right?
And then zombie legs Derek Johnson. Like, seriously.
I like their rookie Kaiser White, but probably not for this season, though he might have an impact.
Yeah, knowing defensive players.
Hey, man, you can't knock
Carl Joseph in the defensive
West
back.
Virginia, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so what was it? J Mike, you and I were doing that draft for Battle of the Podcasts with 11 other podcasts, and we were trying to scoop up a quarterback late, and we did mention Derek Carr, because we have Cooper, right? And not that a tandem is required or necessary in any sort of draft, but it's sometimes nice with a late round quarterback, I suppose. Decent strategy. What do y'all think about Carr then? Do you think that he can have any sort of bounce back, or even if the Raiders are just bad, is he, a Blake Bortles type of year a few years back where he's just catching up the whole time and still puts up, a QB1 season? Is that possible?
I think so. Without a broken back, I think he'll at least be close to what he was 2 years ago. And the volume is going to go up because their defense is going to be atrocious. So they're going to have to throw the ball, which is I love Cooper this year because they don't have much else alive to catch the ball. Though I do love Jared Cook, but he has to actually be a thing before I could say he'll be a thing.
I'm tired of putting my neck out there for Jared Cook and coming back with a head less. Good grief.
I've never liked Derek Carr. I don't know. He hasn't broken 4,000 yards yet in his career. He only has Cooper this year. I mean, you can argue whether Jordy is actually going to be useful. But then they just signed Brandon LaFell, the 32-year-old Brandon LaFell. And it just looks like they're really aiming to run the ball more with their very old running backs.
Their average age wasn't high enough, so they had to get LaFell.
Right.
But Gruden said Jordy can still run.
How is Jordy not second on the team in targets this year, though? I mean, there's got to be value in that, right? Maybe not.
Assuming that they're not grounding and pounding, 2 yards at a time and are keeping up at the pass volume that they should because of how, again, bad their defense is going to be, then yeah, I think Jordy should be getting his targets, even if he does, tone himself down from the big threat guy he used to be and just becomes, I hate saying Anquan Bolden for every kind of possession receiver, but if he does sort of turn into that kind of guy, he makes his change gracefully as he gets older, as everyone calls the Fitzgerald transition.
Yep.
I mean, I'm not going out and buying him. Don't get me wrong. I want no part in it. But if you got him, I don't think you should cry about it.
Travis, what are your thoughts on Jordy?
I think the targets are going to be there for him because, I don't really – Jared Cook's a decent tight end, I guess, in terms of bad back-end tight end ones. There are several of those guys, and he's one of them. Yeah. And so, yeah, he's in that tier. So he's not going to hog a bunch of targets. And I think Jordy has proven that he doesn't always win with just crazy, long, amazing deep speed. He just tends to fight his way open. When he was with Rodgers, obviously they had a connection, and he could just kind of do a back shoulder throw and win a contested situation. I don't know if he immediately has that kind of, I don't know if he's that in sync with Carr right away, but I think he can win other ways. He doesn't have to rely on just his speed, and so I'm not super worried about him. I think, second targets, that's great, but I don't know if it's going to be a ton of volume because, last year the Raiders threw just over 500 times. They were kind of on the bottom end of the NFL in terms of actual pass attempts. So with Gruden, I don't know if they really up that total, and I don't know if he historically makes his wide receivers too sexy for fantasy purposes. He does his wide receiver 1, but wide receiver 2 not so much. But with Carr, I think he needs just a little bit more volume, right? If you look at his overall pass attempts, he had I think it was 60 or 70 below his average last year. So we want to knock him and say he had a horrible season. It wasn't awful. His touchdown percentage was below what it was normally, but he just didn't throw as much. So if he just throws a little bit more because they have to, maybe he is a streamer every single week. I like that take just because they're not going to be able to rely on 47-year-old running backs. It's just not. I don't think that holds up. So, yeah.
Real quick, for this season, we'll leave it to this season. Jordy Nelson or Mike Williams?
Oof. With Antonio Gates back, I think he takes a little bit away from Mike Williams. So I'm going to say Jordy just because he's number 2 on that team.
Yep.
Agreed.
What do you think, Gabe? Could you have a more just disappointed, I don't want to answer this groan?
Pretty much. It's like, can I just not? How's that sound, J Mike? Keep going down the list. Give me someone else I actually want.
Jordy or Randall Cobb?
I'm scared of Cobb too.
Cobb.
I don't know if Cobb's kind of the reasonable answer, but I don't know if they're trading him or trying to cut him or actually cut him. I don't know what they're doing to that man. But it isn't.
By the way, they kept 8 wide receivers. Do you guys see that? 8 wide receivers.
4 tight ends, I believe.
That just can't be good. Just can't be good for Cobb.
Oh, you mean the Packers did? Wow.
Yeah, the Packers did. They kept 8. They kept all 3 of the rookies. They kept Kumaro, but I think he's IR now.
Yeah.
And then they still have Trevor Davis, I guess, to return kicks, basically. And then Geronimo, mainly because he just has a cool name. That's about it.
What do you guys think about the Cobb versus Jordy? And you can just give quick names. So I got a couple other names I want to go through because I'm really interested in this right now. This is interesting to me.
I go Cobb in that situation. I think if Aaron Rodgers is healthy and Randall Cobb is on that team, unless something changes, he's going to be super productive. If he's healthy and Rodgers is healthy, there's not really a way that's not going to be a good thing.
Exactly everything he just said.
I'd rather have Jordy just because I think Ty Montgomery takes that Cobb role from 2014. So I just don't trust his injury history, and I just don't know if there's that many targets, especially with Jimmy Graham. I think we're forgetting that they have never really had a tight end that demanded targets, and I think Jimmy Graham is definitely going to demand a lot more targets.
Don't you know, part of Michael Finley like that.
Part of Randall Cobb's injury history is allegedly that he basically crushed his side on a microphone pack that he was wearing.
That's right.
I remember that.
It's like, do we really blame him for that? That was the 2016 season where I think he did miss like 3 games. But outside of that weird injury, it's been since 2013 that he's missed. Sans mic pack injuries, he's missed more than just 1 game in a season. So I don't know. He's been more durable than I think we give him credit for.
But what's the whole back and forth of whether he's on the trade block, not on the trade block? Is any of that real?
I don't know. He's like, he's on the last year of his deal, right? So they're trying to just get something out of him if they can. They probably just fished it out there. See, look, we've got 17 other bad wide receivers. We want to figure out if any of them are worth keeping either. Let's see if we can get anything. But I mean, they want to be good. They want to have playmakers that can get open, and I think he's going to be one of the better ones to do that for them this year. So even if he gets, traded after this year, even if he's gone after this year, whatever, I think he's going to be there this season.
Okay.
I've got 2 more names for you.
Still don't like anyone, J Mike. Keep going.
Okay. I think you'll love this one. Devin Funchess or Jordy Nelson.
It's not 2017, J Mike. It's all about DJ Moore now, pal. I'm fading Funchess too. I don't know. Like, keep going.
That's what this entire podcast is waiting until we find Gabe, a wide receiver that he loves.
Gabe is too good for all of your wide receivers. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I'll move along.
I would take Funchess though. I think he is the number one. I think he's the number 1 option on that team. Just to be fair and clear, but McCaffrey is probably the number 1 option on that team. But as far as wide receivers go, / tight end, I think
he's their best red zone target too. So
sure, yeah, it's not going to be Greg Olsen.
He old.
Last one.
He's like 34. You guys, please tell me one of you are older than 34.
Nope.
God damn it. J Mike, you have like 2 gray hairs in your beard. You have to be like,
I've got a lot more. No,
like right there. I see. Oh yeah, on the other side too. You got like the Ra's al Ghul thing going on soon.
Wow, Ra's al Ghul. Oh my gosh.
Well
We're going to talk about Arrow on this show. I did not see that coming.
I like that. But no, I'm 32. I'm 32.
A Batman bad guy.
32. Sorry to disappoint you.
Youngin.
Last one. This is also going to be gross, but I'm picking all these gross receivers, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Jamison Crowder or Jordy Nelson.
I love Jamison Crowder.
I love Crowder.
What?
Love Jamison Crowder.
You're telling me the short wide receiver, the guy that runs short routes with captain checkdowns, not a buy for you?
Especially once Chris Thompson twists his ankle again. Oh, J Mike ain't happy.
No, I've never seen it with Jameson. I don't understand the allure.
I was just drinking some Jameson.
Hey,
there you go.
That's wonderful. I just asked that because all those guys are going approximately 10-ish spots ahead of Jordy Nelson. I mean, within 10 spots ahead of Jordy Nelson in terms of fantasy football calculators, wide receivers. They've got Jordy going toward the beginning of the 9th, whereas Crowder's going mid-7th. So I know those guys kind of fall in between. So I was just curious how close Jordy would be from, like, I don't know, fringe wide receiver 2 or fringe flex for folks.
I wouldn't be sad if he was my flex.
No, I think he's exactly that. I mean, he's especially a bye week flex, but I don't know if I want to roll out week 1 and just be like, yeah, Jordy. I want 15 points. Yes.
There's definitely guys I would want later. I mean, like guys like Kelvin Benjamin are going later than Jordy. So it's just, I think there's guys with better volume than Jordy that I'd rather have.
You want Nathan Peterman volume?
No. I was listening to a podcast today, and they're talking about the first 3 weeks and how terrible that is for them. He's got like, they got the Ravens, the Chargers, and then I can't remember the third.
They don't want Josh Allen to die, is what it comes down to.
So we'll probably see Josh Allen in the fourth week.
When it comes to golly, I lost my train of thought. Sorry, that was a fail.
It was about how awesome Jamison Crowder is.
Definitely not that.
More about
that Josh Allen's going to be the best rookie QB this season. Ooh.
Oh no, yeah.
Whoa.
I don't actually.
That's hot. That's hot.
Turned into
I just had to swallow a bunch of vomit. Thank you very much.
Wash it down with that tasty sandwich.
That was super interesting because you said this is who the Bills start the season with. Ravens week 1, Chargers week 2, Vikings week 3. Then they go to Lambeau week 4. So it's like over under Peterman 8 interceptions.
Are a decent defense as well too. I mean, a surprising defense, and their secondary is coming around. So all 4 of those are not going to be good.
Then they host the Titans after the Packers, and then they go to Houston.
Also on the rise.
Like it's going to be.
So they're going to be over.
They're going to be over going into Indianapolis.
I know my first 6 eliminator picks.
Exactly.
So when the Bills get the first overall pick, did they take a quarterback?
Not this year's class.
No. Well, we got our Devi guy, Travis, say things about that.
Say things.
Justin Herbert, what up?
Yeah, I do like Justin Herbert. I do like Will Grier. I do like Drew Lock. I do like Jarrett Stidham even to an extent, but I don't like any of them at number 1 overall. I think there's going to be like a half dozen defensive guys that go before any quarterback potentially next year. And a couple of them I don't really even agree with that are being, just completely overhyped right now, especially one guy who doesn't really even have a pro position. But I mean, Ed Oliver's just going to not play what he's playing now. But,
you better not let Daryl hear that from.
No, I like him. He's hilarious. I mean, it's just hilarious watching him play like his level of competition most weeks. I mean, he just wrecks people, but he's not going to play interior. He's not going to be a defensive tackle. I mean, he's just, unless he adds like 20 pounds. So I don't know. It's just, it'll be interesting to see what happens with him. But anyway,
but do you like any of those QBs more than Josh Allen?
I like all 4 of the ones I just mentioned other than Josh Allen. I could probably name 5 other quarterbacks if for next year's class. It's not even that good that I like a little bit more than Josh Allen. But yeah, I think Will Grier will probably start at some point next year. Justin Herbert, if he comes out and actually stays healthy, he will. I think Drew Lock definitely will. He's already learned a completely different system than he was running last year, which is more of a pro style. And everyone was worried he's gonna suffer with volume and everything, and he just drops like 50 points in week 1. And so I think he's going to be a lot of fun to watch too.
Not to mention the 1 billion and 1 receivers who are going to be drafted, which Buffalo could also use a couple of those. R.I.P. Corey Coleman.
That's my boy.
I think that broke a lot of hearts.
I don't know if I've seen a plummet like that before.
Troy Williamson, maybe. Like,
yeah, that's a good one.
It's a long, and it's forever ago, right?
Yeah.
Les Trent had some time on top before he went far, far down. He had at least a couple of touchdowns before he got traded and then fell into oblivion, or he went to Canada or something like that.
What was the other Browns receiver? Little, right? Greg Little.
Greg Little.
Yeah.
Just got cut by the Cardinals.
I was about to say he's like still in the league or something.
Yeah, he's trying to.
He was making a comeback.
So Corey Coleman, there is still a chance, pal.
Just meet up with Trent in Canada.
You get like a 10-yard head start to take off. I hear.
All right, Stompy, what's next on the show sheet, buddy?
I've been waiting all night to talk.
Have we
shit about the Seahawks defense?
Have we hit on the show sheet at all? I haven't even looked at it.
We touched on Corey Coleman right there.
Did we? Okay, Corey Coleman was in. Why'd you put that on the show sheet?
Because he got cut.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what, Gabe?
Don't talk to your senior show sheet
good
writer
point.
like that.
Yeah, that's
Quit
true.
making fun of me. I'm very, very
Probably
sensitive.
gonna quit by next week. By the way, we need a show sheet for next week. Thank you, Sam.
Yes, sir.
There's another cut. Dan Bailey.
Aww. I think Twitter was the most upset about Dan Bailey getting
I
cut.
think so.
'Cause his
And
accuracy, man.
Dallas fans. All the money, a lot of money going around.
Los Angeles Chargers. Can y'all call Dan Bailey like now?
Seriously.
What's wrong with Caleb Sturgis?
He's not Dan Bailey.
Okay.
Or the guy with the awesome name. The guy that
Young Wei Koo.
Yes.
The guy that
Young
missed
Wei Koo.
practically every single kick he kicked. Ball kick.
But
field-
he could.
It doesn't matter. He's got a cool name.
Do a backflip.
Or is that, yeah, I was about to say, is that the dude that kicked a field goal
Yes.
while doing a
What's that?
backflip?
It is.
That is him.
And,
Maybe he'd be more accurate if he did that during the game.
Sturgis beat out Aguayo, Halal's homie. Aguayo, he loves that third round kicker.
Wasn't he a second round kicker?
Second round kicker was out.
Yeah.
Jeez,
It was that bad.
it's that bad. Well, on the subject of special teams and players that kick things, does anyone have any punter analysis? Because J Mike, our LFO draft tomorrow, the Lit Fantasy Organization, we've got our boy band brand in the open bar. The official boy band of the open bar is LFO. I added a punter for the for the league this year.
Wow.
I mean,
So who's got the hot punter takes? I need to know who to draft for my punter.
I was on
Marquette-
vacation like 2 weeks ago, and I checked Twitter after not being on for like 3 nights, and every other tweet was about the freaking Seattle punter like rolling a ball out at the 2-yard line.
Okay. 101.
Go Brett Kern. Brett Curtin. I mean, like if you just look at last year. I mean, he was a Pro Bowl punter, man.
What's
Titans.
his name? Brett
Kern.
Kern.
That's all you need, man. Brett
All right.
Kern.
Okay.
Yeah.
how the Titans have so many Pro Bowl and All Pro players and
It's the mayonnaise,
garbage
man.
as they were? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's the mayonnaise, man.
Garbage as they were, and they won a playoff game, man. My goodness.
Travis,
They beat the
were they
Jaguars
good
a
last
lot.
year? Travis.
They were decent last year.
Travis.
Their offense was not. Their offense was gross.
And I want to like the Titans. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to offend you, Travis. You were
No,
like,
no,
they
no
weren't- what do you mean
offense
garbage? I take umbrage with that comment.
No,
Umbrage.
I recognized when they were. I mean, like back in 2014, I went to some practices and I was like, oh my gosh, this might be the worst NFL roster I've ever seen. But they're not that anymore. They're making strides and they're close. They need to stay healthy. But Brett Kern, that's all you really need to know. Punter. And Darren Bates for special teams team captain. If you can work that into your fantasy league somehow.
I'm gonna go see if that's an option. I want to add more unreasonable roster spots in the league.
What about Marquette King in altitude this year?
You guys are all your homer picks. Y'all killing me right now. I'm just kidding. I like it.
What makes a good punter though? Like for
Does anybody know a punter not from their team?
I'm pretty sure I don't know ours, J Mike.
That's great.
Do you know?
I don't.
I
Wow.
don't.
No, I mean,
think
actually, I
do.
mean,
feel so
we were
bad.
just talking about the Seahawks punter, isn't it? His name's like Dixon or something.
Yeah.
It's right on. I feel like I've seen. It's just that it changes so much. I feel like hold on. Now I'm curious. But what? Because I know, like with kickers, you kind of think of teams that maybe have poor red zone efficiency or just score a lot of points. That helps too. What makes a good punter? What scores a lot of points?
Having a cool name like
Doug.
Rigoberto Sanchez.
Okay,
I'd vote for that guy for Pro Bowl.
That's pretty good.
That's the Colts punter. I mean, I'm from Indiana originally, so all my buddies are like, yeah, Rigoberto.
Sometimes I
Brad-
wish you can get first names on jerseys. I would
Oh, no.
totally buy that jersey.
See, this is why I didn't know J Mike, because our punter this year was drafted in the 2018 draft. Logan Cook. Last year was Brad Nortman. Now it's Logan. I mean, it's such a weak position. It just fluctuates so gosh darn much.
And you chose to add it to the fantasy.
I don't think I've talked about punters this much in my entire life. Like,
You're
this is
welcome.
we're running on like 7.5 minutes on punters.
That's right.
It's so
Is
disgusting.
Doug Eddy in the chat? Oh my gosh,
he
you guys
is
have
not.
to Google Steve Weatherford right now. This guy is a very strong punter.
He's like
Well,
50
guy.
now.
Steve Weatherford. Steve Weatherford.
The old dude from the Jets?
He's a
well,
punter.
His
Jeez, this guy's big.
Brandon Rojas in the chat says that he can name 10 to 15 punters. 10 to
Challenge.
15.
Go.
Brandon,
Go.
Brandon, go.
Brandon,
No looking at Google.
you're going to have to prove it, Brandon. You've got 60 seconds. Let's go.
Start
Somebody
one by
time this
one.
one.
We'll
Name
check
and
back
enter.
in
Name
on
and
you.
enter.
In 60
What a timer.
seconds while we look at pictures of Steve Weatherford. I mean, look at
Yeah, we're
this
about
guy.
to pull this up
Have you
right
guys-
now.
Have you guys seen this yet?
60 seconds.
Hold on, real quick. People listen to this?
Football. Oh my God.
Okay.
You'd be surprised, Travis. You'd be surprised.
Are you not satisfied, Travis?
No, he's not, apparently.
I'm just surprised.
People listen to this, he said. Oh my God. J
Oh,
Mike, I
man,
think
that
this is
guy's
the
a
last show.
monster.
Yo, yeah, this is
Oh
it.
my
He's
God.
got 7. Brandon's got 7 so far. You've got 30 seconds, Brandon. Don't let us down. And that was really fast. Well done.
That seems a little too alphabetical order for me.
Hey, Travis, about the Titans though, and it seems like we've been kind of talking about bounce back teams a little bit. I understand it could be a little bit biased, so we'll maybe not hear your opinion, everyone else's opinion. But do the Titans bounce back?
Yep.
And is it even a bounce back? I mean, they made the playoffs, but they just weren't all that fantasy.
I mean, the Bills made the
Productive.
playoffs last year.
Thumbs
So
up,
making the
thumbs up.
playoffs doesn't mean too much.
How do you do?
He got stuck on 7. It's actually still pretty good.
Can you boot him out of the chat now for being a liar?
seven more than I would get. Good job.
He said he was on a roll, then hit a wall.
Kind of sounds like this episode. The moment Travis said that people
Wait,
actually
people listen to this? Hey. No, who's not getting a Christmas card this year?
Hey, I'm just messing with you guys. But I can't
all
actually. Can you guys actually still hear me? Because it was like a bunch of feedback there for a second. So,
Oh yeah, loud and clear. Perfect.
Mhm.
But so thoughts about the Titans though?
Oh, I'm all in on Mariota this year.
Yeah.
And I love Corey Davis.
Wheels up, right? Wheels up in Tennessee.
I just mentioned this on another podcast last week, but Matt LaFleur, it was basically like he's got the golden touch. I talked about this past spring when LaFleur came over to the Titans. But basically, if you look at his track record with quarterbacks, I mean, he's obviously been paired with some fantastic offensive coordinators. But if you look at it, I mean, he was with Jared Goff, completely fixed him. And obviously he was with Sean McVay, and that system was a great change, but fixed some just fundamental problems that were looking horrible with Goff. And then he was a quarterbacks coach for Matt Ryan in his MVP season. And yes, Kyle Shanahan was there, but so was Matt LaFleur. Before that, he was with Everett Golson, at Notre Dame, and turned a really mediocre Notre Dame quarterback into one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And then he disappeared as soon as LaFleur was gone. And even before that, he was with RG3 in 2012 as his quarterbacks coach, and the only season we ever cared anything about RG3. So I think everywhere he's gone, he's fixed something that was fundamentally wrong and taken somebody who, maybe wasn't even in and of himself good enough to take that next step, but he found how to do that and just took advantage of their strengths. So I'm excited to see what that looks like for Mariota specifically this year. I just hope everybody stays healthy more than anything.
Of course. And just, I mean, how diverse all of those quarterbacks are that you just listed. I mean, Matt Ryan, pocket passer, Jared Goff, pretty much that too. But, and then RG3 and Golson kind of moving around, and Mariota's maybe a mix of that, I guess. Less movement, but yeah. So it's interesting. I'm intrigued too. I'm excited to see what he can do. Except against the Jaguars, I hope they plummet.
Well, and he had like his lowest touchdown. Mariota had his lowest touchdown percentage last year, his lowest yards per attempt, adjusted yards per attempt. So he's definitely due for a bounce back as well, even without LaFleur, I think.
Yeah, and people forget. I mean, he wasn't even sprinting or like running around at full speed until halfway through the preseason, and really even then he was still hampered. Because I mean, he basically just shattered his knee, like at the end of last season. So he was just really not healthy to start the season, and then he messes up his hamstring, and you can tell his gait is just all jacked up. He's basically throwing the football just flat-footed. So I don't know. There were some other things that were not really talked about in the national media that were just problems for Mariota. So I think there are ways where he can definitely bounce back and surprise some people.
Derrick Henry or Royce Freeman?
Freeman.
Yes, I asked that on purpose.
Say Royce Freeman.
I asked that on purpose with these two.
Yeah, Broncos and Titans guys here. Yeah, perfect.
Just curious.
Then throwing Penny.
Freeman's looked really good this preseason. He finally got named the starter, I think, despite Vance Joseph. And he looked great in college, and I think he continues it into the NFL.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Freeman actually. Yeah, I like Freeman a whole lot.
I'm gonna go with Henry because I own more of him.
Oh, okay.
Spot on analysis.
Yeah. Speak it into existence for us. Speak it into existence. In the chat, and again, shout out to everyone in the chat rocking with us. A whole bunch of folks jumped in since I last shouted everyone out. What up, Stepney?
Hey.
What? Stepney in the building. Code Man, Cody Kutzer's in the building.
Hey.
Let's see here. Zach from the Dummies also. What up, Zach?
I saw Trader Joe jumped in there at one point.
Trader Joe was up in the beginning. What up, Trader Joe? Sorry about that. Cody brings up a good point, which and Sam, I think you'll have something to say about this as well. Emmanuel Sanders, Week 1 versus the Seattle Seahawks. Wheels up, right?
Dude, anybody against the Seahawks wheels up this year.
What?
How sad is that to say?
They're not. I mean, yes, I'm probably being hyperbolic with it, but just looking at like DVOAs and who they lost and stuff from last year, they are not going to be good on any facet of the defensive side of the ball.
I don't know what DVOA stands for, and I could tell you that's true.
But yeah, in terms of Emmanuel Sanders, Case Keenum was targeting him heavily this offseason. I believe he was that pairing was the most successful in terms of completion percentage in the preseason. So you may be looking at like an Adam Thielen type connection with Keenum, where he likes that kind of flanker slot guy over. But I mean, both of them, both him and DT, just like Thielen and Diggs, can both finish in the top 24. Diggs, I finished 18th last year, but he only played 12 games. So yeah, I mean, I think Emmanuel Sanders had a lot of injury issues last year, but he was still playing very well with some very poor quarterback plays. So he finished as wide receiver 20 in 2016 with Simeon, and Peyton's last year when he had Peyton and Osweiler, he finished as wide receiver 19. So you get a better quarterback who is probably going to be targeting him a decent amount. And I could honestly see top 16 and even top 12 wide receiver numbers if he gets kind of that Thielen share of the targets like Thielen saw last year.
I'm all in on the Broncos offense. I think they're awesome for this year and forever.
Infinity and beyond.
For real. I mean, I'm sad they let go of Carlos Henderson. I loved him, but
he's actually on the practice squad.
Did they sign? Okay, that. I mean, that doesn't actually give me hope, but it gives me hope anyway. But no, I love everything they've done. if I didn't hate them so much, I'd love them.
Will you still love them when neither Emmanuel Sanders or Demaryius Thomas play for them next year?
Oh God, I love Sutton and I love Deshaun Hamilton. So yeah, I have so many Royce Freeman shares, it's ridiculous. So yeah, I love where that team's going, and I will obviously like Case Keenum over whatever they had last year, but I'd be fine if he was their QB of the future.
Well, and yeah, so they've built for the future. They have Swag Kelly behind Keenum. But I mean, he was honestly, if he wasn't such a bonehead, he probably would have been a first 3-round QB talent. He was probably one of the better QBs to come out last year in terms of his college production. So, I mean, I think they have at least their QB of the future on the roster. We'll say that. Plus, they've been, like I said, building for the future with Sutton, with Hamilton, with Royce Freeman. Maybe if Carlos Henderson can get his head on his shoulders, they might have a decent wide receiver core in the next year or two.
Jake Butt.
And Jake Butt.
See?
Well, and there's a good wide receiver class next year too, so you could always get kind of a late guy in there as well.
The Broncos start with the Seahawks, the Raiders, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. Three out of 4 really bad defenses.
Yep.
Or at least last year, bad, I should say.
Ravens defense was good.
No, that's what I'm saying. The Ravens is the one. So the Chiefs were bad, the Raiders were bad.
And the Chiefs got worse, the Seahawks got worse.
Yeah, the Chiefs.
The Raiders got a lot worse.
Yeah. So there you go. 3-1, baby.
I just find it interesting. It could be a hot start. It could be a fun might be the window to possibly sell if you don't love the Broncos, but you get a lot of production out of them. Or of course you just ride it. We'll see. That'll be fun.
How dare you?
How dare you?
I'm just thinking out loud.
I'll say, I don't even know why we're saying it, but how dare you?
I'll mute. I'll just mute. My bad.
Bye, J Mike.
Nice. He actually muted himself. Wow. That's dedication to his podcast.
Yeah. To the brand. All right. What's next? Do we have anything else on your show sheet, Stompy?
I don't even know anymore. We've veered off the rails here.
What are Ren and Stimpy? What are they?
A dog and a cat?
Are they?
Dog? I think they're both dogs.
No, Stimpy's a cat.
No, I think he's like a Chihuahua.
Ren is this Chihuahua. Stimpy's the cat.
Okay.
Travis, do you have a take? You still can't believe people listen to this?
No. No. I think Ren is the I think Russ is right. Yeah. It's a dog and a cat. That's it.
Okay.
Oh my God, J Mike, unmute yourself so we have something to talk about.
Like holding your breath.
Everyone else got to talk about their team. I think it is our turn. Or just the one thing I kind of wanted to mention that I read today that, and this could change in a blink, but it looks as if Keelan Cole and Dante Moncrief are starting opposite of each other for the Jaguars. Does that mean anything to y'all? Does it? What are your thoughts?
Everything.
I think Keelan Cole's awesome.
Everything.
Does that help?
Yeah, super helpful.
Yay. No, because they're gonna run the ball a whole lot.
Oh no, I think Keelan Cole's a top 24 wide receiver at the very least.
Ooh.
I think that's kind of spicy, and I like it.
Yeah.
Travis's face.
I know. I can't wait to get that one back.
If you don't watch us live on Tuesday nights, that his face alone, when he heard Keelan Cole top 24 wide receiver, is worth the price of admission by itself. That was classic.
Oh man, top 24. All
Talk to it.
Well, here, let me defend that statement at the very least. So weeks 13 through 17, he was wide receiver 5. Weeks 13 through 16, he was wide receiver 3. So week 17, I think he finishes like wide receiver 65 or something. So brought his average down. But when he got the chance and he got the targets, he put up numbers. And now without Marquise Lee, I think Keelan Cole is the number one wide receiver on that team. Yes, you have Dante Moncrief, who's a glorified tight end at this point.
Damn right.
And then Dede Westbrook, and you can argue Biletnikoff all you want, but he's had some drop issues. He had the drop.
DJ Chark,
Oh God, I just.
So J Mike has kids. He knows what's going on.
Oh, that's good, Russ.
I mean, I won't say I thought of that originally, but I definitely stole it from somebody.
Oh
man,
man,
it may have been the dummies. I can't remember.
I'm still giving you that one. That's a good one. If you don't fool with kids, and it just went over, it's okay.
And it's for the better, man. It's for the better.
Or is it for the 32 and above? Who's that one's for?
Well, 30. I feel like this is something that you probably dealt with in school, Gabe. The Baby Shark song. Baby Shark,
Baby Shark, Mommy Shark,
No.
This is.
Can't wait to tell my wife I sang Baby Shark on a.
This isn't resonating with you.
No, it's not.
This isn't banging in your 808.
I'm glad I have the sample now, so I can use this later. But
all right, so I'll let Travis come back at me.
I think this is what I want to follow all night.
Yeah, I don't know how you follow that. Actually, I don't know what else there is to say. That was just high class analysis when it comes to the Jaguars receiving core. No, I think Keelan Cole, he's fine. I mean, if you look back, I mean, everywhere he's gone, he's just eating up targets on an offense somehow. Like even dating back to, I guess it was Kentucky Wesleyan, which is Division 48 in football. And no, it's funny. I grew up right next to. I'm about to finish my master's through the university that actually plays them in basketball all the time. University of Southern Indiana. Kentucky Wesleyan would come to play their basketball team all the time. So I'm familiar with the Kentucky Wesleyan. But they're just, he had like a stupid dominator in college. I think it was over 60% dominator in final season, which, for listeners that aren't familiar with dominator rating, it's just like basically your combination of your team's receiving yards and your receiving touchdowns. And he basically accounted for 60% of his college offense, which is just absurd. And so I don't think that anything near that is attainable in the pros because, I mean, even the studs like Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, even those guys only account for about half that, about 30% of their offense through the air in any given season. And I don't expect Keelan Cole to even sniff that. And even if he did in terms of targets, I think he would still be massively inefficient. And not even really just because of his own doing, but because of who's throwing him the football. And I think that's the knock against DJ Chark. I think that's the knock against Dante Moncrief. I think even if he gets 20 more targets, 30 more targets, you're looking at a guy who's more of a Robbie Anderson who could, sneak into top 24 conversation, but I don't think he'll even be able to be as effective as a Robbie Anderson. So he's probably in that 25 to 33 range. But I think if sneaking into the top 24, that just makes me feel a little bit too optimistic because it's going to take a lot of targets, probably about 114, 115, 116 in that range. So that's a lot of uptick from last year consistently, and he's going to have to score some touchdowns too.
I think we need to get Bobby Koch up in here to defend his hashtag the Blake.
Yeah, I'll be upset about that. I respect the disrespect towards Bortles, just mostly to the degree that it's just a different team and that they run the ball a whole lot more. Blake Bortles has had 2 top 24 wide receivers before. It was kind of when it was a lot of garbage time and a lot of ketchup. That's fair. No mustard. But by the way, a few nights ago, has anyone just ever had a teaspoon of mustard before?
God, no. What?
Okay. It was just oh no, I shouldn't have said this because we always the Jaguars fans trash the Titans fans for eating mayonnaise.
Which we don't do.
Well, Sure. To each his own. But anyways,
we're a bunch of hipsters. Like we eat avocado and stuff here in Nashville.
Oh, you're an avocado toast person.
Right. I'm not, but
Austin and Nashville alike. Yeah.
That's why he had to leave downtown, because he's not an avocado.
Exactly.
Eating too much avocado toast. He couldn't afford his rent.
Exactly. So now we just afford.
They're not cheap anymore. I don't think that's due to the hipsters. I think that's due to something else. But this isn't a political podcast. So, anyways, he's had 2 top 24 wide receivers before. Don't think it can happen anymore, though, especially if the Jaguars are successful. So I can respect that, and I think is only room for one, if there's one. And yeah, that's why I was opening up the discussion about, is it Cole? Can it be Moncrief? D.D. Westbrook's playing a lot in the slot is in the preseason. Could it sneakily be him? Rich man Russ, who's gone. Oh, no.
I had to yawn. I didn't want to be rude and do it on the screen. I'm old. This is like my bedtime.
No.
Rich man, respectful rich man Russ. We're adding R's all over the place. But yeah,
all about that alliteration.
Mm-hmm.
The in the chat, Brandon, couple questions that came in that I think would be interesting for us to talk through. Brandon Rojas just asked, Juju, Baldwin, Demaryius Thomas, Josh Gordon. Who does he sit week 1?
Josh Gordon.
We know that Denver and Seattle play each other. I can look up who everyone else has.
Well, I just think Josh Gordon they're going to try and prove a point.
Oh, yeah.
With him.
And the Browns play the Steelers. Sorry. Go ahead.
Hugh came out and said that Josh Gordon wasn't going to be a starter, even though he's going to contribute. And they said that they're probably going to play him for like 50% of snaps. So that, even though he was an idiot and you can't trust what he says, you can trust him to be an idiot. So I'd be too worried to play Josh Gordon right away. I'd want to see what they actually do with him.
Yeah, I have to agree. The only other one I would think would be Baldwin, just because Denver's secondary is pretty good, but they're going to be throwing a lot because they're as good as their secondary is. Their front seven is very good at stopping the run. So I just think that Seattle's going to be throwing a lot, and there's not a lot to throw to. So
is Denver's secondary still good?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Losing Talib isn't
Chris
great.
Harris will probably be on Baldwin, huh?
But Roby's a good. I mean, he would have been a starter for basically every team last year. He was a great quarterback 3. He now steps into that starting role. It's a step down, but I think
that's a big step.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, I think Baldwin, he also plays a lot from the slot and plays those quick slant routes that he's good at getting separation from. And I mean, even if there isn't a lot of yards after the catch, PPR wise, I think he'll still give you a very wide receiver 2-ish game. Josh Gordon is going to be boom or bust anyway. And if he's not going to get a lot of snaps, then you're really banking on one like 40-yard touchdown to sustain you for the week. So I would avoid that. I'd still sit Gordon.
Baldwin's playing at, in his own words, 80-85% for likely that first game through many games. I would still probably start Baldwin over Gordon, though, just because I'm okay sitting Gordon for even if he does blow up. It would just provide comfort that he is back of sorts, and that's okay to sit him for that first week and not risk that.
Yep.
It's that I remember the Titans line. Show me, Bama. Show me. You got to show me, Josh Gordon, before I put you in my lineup. I can't be taking donuts to start the year.
Mind you, Baldwin playing out of the slot. He is playing. He would be lined up across from Chris Harris, who is one of the top. We'll call him top 3 slot corners in the league. So I agree. I know, but I agree. But just saying.
What do you think, Travis? Who do you sit there?
Yeah, I agree with Gabe. It's like who are you most okay with missing on? It's like who are you gonna kick yourself less for? And I'm going to go with a guy who's basically, been gone from his team for most of the preseason and really has been kind of a head case on the team. Like Russ said, they're just dumb enough to screw it up. And they're going to somehow, and they're going to just make that offense fail, even though they have the best set of playmakers they've had in a while on that roster. They're going to screw it up. And it's going to be like Seth DeValve with the only touchdown with one or something, just going to be bad.
I want to come right back to the Steelers Browns for a second, because
funny
something
how
just
we
hit
didn't
me.
mention Juju at all. Like, he is a lock to start out of those three, by the way. Sorry.
Play Juju.
Yeah.
Play Juju.
Oh, yeah.
Play DT. Play both of those guys.
Heck yeah.
Next up, Cody Kutzer. What up, Cody? He asks.
Yeah, another guy.
He doesn't really ask. Yeah. Also a contributor, right, to TFA.
Yes, he is.
He said ASJ is going to eat. Tell me I'm right. I feel like
you're right.
Yeah, you're right. First of all, you're right. I feel like ASJ's been like the what's the word? Like creme de la creme of like late round tight end drafting, right? Mm-hmm. So your Ricky Seals Jones, your ASJs, just a lot of double last name action.
Yeah.
I think that those are just a couple of guys that I like a lot. If you're like, hey, I'm just punting tight end, and I feel like they're able to be scooped at the end of like just about every draft. It feels like for me this season. So, what say you guys?
All right, no one else is talking. I'd like ASJ a lot more if Moncrief wasn't there, because like Sam joked before, Moncrief is a glorified tight end, so he's going to steal some of those red zone looks. And on third and short, it's not like they're passing. So that's going to all go to Leonard Fournette.
Yeah.
There's like 200 targets open, right? I mean, Marquise Lee had like 100. Hearns had like 50-something. And Mercedes Lewis had like 50-something. So there's like 200 targets gone. So there's a lot of opportunity. And I know that most of Mercedes Lewis's production came in like 1 week where he had like 2 touchdowns. But, I mean, yeah, that 5 touchdown total was actually the most on the team for receiving. I don't know. That's intriguing, I guess, as far as free tight ends go. ASJ is definitely up there.
Just throwing that out there because I thought that's a lot of fun to think about in terms of what's next. And they play the Giants.
Then yeah, start him.
Who are also like at least last season, I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, they were super tight end friendly.
Was like the team to.
And all they did was add Alec Ogletree, who is awful. So they probably made themselves.
All right, he's god awful in coverage. Their linebackers are terrible in coverage.
What did he do to you for you to call him god awful? What did he do to you? Did he bully you?
He didn't do anything. He's just terrible in coverage. Much like
he's
Todd
the one
Davis
that gave him the nickname he talked about at the beginning of the show.
Yeah. I knew Ogletree in college.
The originator of the underscore stump.
You got it. For finding a replaceable nickname. I couldn't figure out.
Okay, let's run back to the Steelers and Browns. Has anyone else thought about the fact that Todd Haley is going up against the Steelers week 1?
No. I have not.
I find that super intriguing. I don't know why. I don't know.
Did he quit or was he let go? I don't even remember anymore. Like, was his contract up or did they fire him? Does anyone ever?
I don't think he was fired. I thought he just moved. I thought he took the job, moved on for Cleveland.
Oh, then whatever. So that's not like a revenge game that like they dropped him or something. He probably just realized he was getting fired, and that gives him a chance of being interim head coach.
That's a good point.
I think the NFL always sets up those interesting matchups in general, but week 1 especially. I mean, you got OBJ and Ramsey too. Like that'll be pretty fun. And there's a couple others that stuck out to me that I can't think of off the top of my head. But
Bills Ravens.
Right.
The Ravens lose on 4th down to the Bengals. Gets the Bills in the playoffs. The Bills love Andy Dalton now.
Yep.
No, okay, nobody wants to stretch with me.
Revenge.
They actually.
Hey, I got one.
What do you got?
So Luke Falk was the third quarterback for the Titans, and
he's the fourth in Miami.
Yeah, exactly.
Revenge.
Get him, Luke.
That's good.
They're gonna send him out for the coin flip.
Oh, no, it's over now. It's over. You're gonna throw hands. Actually, what's hilarious about Luke Falk is his warm-up drill. He does throw hands. Like I'll do it like on the camera. Like this is his thing. Like he'll walk up and down the sideline just warming up like this. It got to the point where like other defensive players were like mock him, like, well, walk up and do it with him. Like Coach Vrabel, even in one practice, walked up behind Luke Falk and was like doing like this. Like
what's the record route? What's he doing? That's wild.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It was just he had the strangest warm up routine. That's probably why they cut him. But
that looks like a move on the sideline to say what audible it is. That looks
no,
like
he's just like by himself. He'd like be the one of the first guys out there, just walking in a straight line, doing this, like just waving his arms back and forth. And
does he have headphones in? Maybe he has like some cha-cha music. He's just like,
no. You know what? I wasn't close enough to see if he had headphones in. That might be it. That is probably the best explanation I've actually heard. I don't really know.
He's just subtly trying to get a dance go viral in my feelings type thing,
Probably
he's making his play for Dancing with the Stars.
Do the fall.
Yeah.
I think he's just trying to get that duet with Travis May. I mean, to really just get out there and
yeah,
cut a rug in what was once Adelphia Field or whatever it was at one point.
Wow, Adelphia, that's a throwback. Yeah, that's what it was before LP.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That's good. Gosh. I'm out of interesting bullets for week one. I'm sorry. Yeah, really? I did my best. Yeah. I mean, Houston plays New England, which I think is just a really fun game. Speaking of New England, are we buying Chris Hogan top 24 receiver this year?
I think so.
It's certainly within the range of possibilities. I'm kind of more worried about durability, if anything, with Chris Hogan. It seems like he doesn't play all 16 games, and that's just what concerns me most.
Fair enough. That's like
if he plays all 16, I think it's fair to say, probably a lock for top 24.
I mean, obviously, we're not even thinking of Cordero Patterson though.
He's turn up.
He's the guy. Oh my gosh.
And Dorsett.
Yeah.
No, I just with Amendola gone and no Malcolm Mitchell and like, what do you? I don't even know what to make of their passing game. It's Gronk and Hogan and figure it out.
I was just thinking today: is it possible to have three running back, like three top 24 running? I don't think that's been done. I'm pretty sure it hasn't been done. Looking back, but three top 24 running backs. Could the Patriots do that? I mean, Burkhead, Michelle. I mean, James White. Those are all like probably drafted within the top 40 or so of running backs, and it's as if we're expecting at least one of them or two of them to, beat that ADP. What is it possible to have three top 24 running backs?
No,
probably not.
No.
I mean, maybe three bottom 24.
Patriots and their running backs. I mean, you know how that go.
That would just be really. I don't even know.
I think the Seahawks actually had 5 bottom 24 running backs last year.
Why?
Who has the better rookie season, DJ Moore or Michael Gallup?
Gallup.
Yeah. I think DJ Moore's better, but Gallup has the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't argue there.
Yeah,
I love him, but yeah.
So many targets gone in Dallas. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty realistic for him to get over 100 at minimum, and 120, 130 probably for a max or so. I think that's realistic.
Yeah, we had Brandon Marion Lee on. What was it? 3 weeks ago for ladies' night, and she was. uber dismissive of one Allen Hurns, which kind of hurt my heart a little bit. Big Hurns fan, big Brandon Marion Lee fan, but yeah, I think I just don't want to. I don't want to close the casket on Allen Hurns.
Is Casey still in the chat typing Cole Beasley in all capital letters?
Nah, she gone. She gone.
Terrence Williams.
I think he's still crashing Lambos somewhere.
So the Chicago Bears travel to Green Bay. Green Bay's currently 7.5 point favorites. First of all, I'm guessing Khalil Mack probably doesn't play, I would imagine, because he hasn't been there at all and hasn't even been in camp or anything. However, please let it be known that the best wide receiver on the field that night will be one Anthony Miller.
Oh,
I need that to be known.
all
Please
right.
and thank you. Don't you give me that look, Travis.
My
I see your look
earbuds
of dismay.
malfunctioned.
Travis
go
dismay.
Yeah, the Travis dismay. That's exactly right.
New burner account.
I like it.
Oh no, there's already line stepping Travis. Have you guys been introduced to him?
Oh no.
Yeah, line stepping Travis will just butt in and tell you what's what every once in a while. He still has my old Abby and everything. I think he's got like 11 or 12 followers. They're all in the same fantasy league. It's one of them. I don't know who it is, but oh man.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, week one is going to be really fun. Sweet, real quick. This season, Garcon or Goodwin?
Good one until he gets another concussion.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah. Real quick though, are we just gonna let him get away with saying Anthony Miller's better than Devontae Adams right now?
That was kind of dismissed.
I'm just
Allen Robinson.
I was just dismaying all of your opinions. And I was
Well, the real Allen Robinson, please stand up, man.
Yeah.
okay. Allen Robinson or Devontae Adams? Who's better? Who do you guys like better?
Devontae Adams.
Devontae Adams.
Okay, yeah. Then Anthony Miller is definitely better than him. So
All right.
I love Anthony Miller. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to say I don't dislike him. In fact, I loved watching him play in college. I think one of my favorite reps ever. I'm trying to think, they were playing maybe it was UCF or somebody. He basically just planted the guy on the ground, just blocking, and they scored a touchdown. And he turns around and looks at the sideline and skipping does the whole nana boo boo to the entire sideline right there, right in front of their faces after just planting a guy on the ground right in front of the bench. It was just, oh man, he's got all the attitude. He just knows he's the best guy on the field, and so he's gonna go out believing he's better than Devontae Adams, and he could wow some people this year. I think he could get 60, 70 catches this year in that offense, and be the best wide receiver in this class from a production standpoint, at least this year. He's an absolute monster. I mean, put up like what? Went from walk on to 2 back-to-back 1,400-yard seasons. I mean, it's ridiculous. So, well, let me some Anthony Miller, but right now, Devontae Adams, he's better.
Gabe knows anytime I get the chance to talk up Anthony Miller, I'm going to. That's all. And Cody brought him up in the chat, so I just need to make sure that was known.
Yep, once a week. Pretty sure you said it last week too. We didn't have a show.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did.
Logged onto YouTube, just said Anthony Miller, then locked off.
Yep.
That's it.
Log out.
There's nothing else to talk about. Carry on. Keep calm and Anthony Miller.
Speaking of Kerryon Johnson,
yes, let's talk about it.
That dude's gonna eat. And like really,
right away,
but LeGarrette Blount though, come on, guys. LeGarrette Blount's like 40 years old. Theo Riddick's never been good. Let's be real. Like he can catch some passes, but he's okay. And then Amari Abdullah. I don't know. Amir Abdullah. I mean, he's gonna do absolutely nothing. Like, let's just be real, guys. So
I want them to get rid of Amir so he can go somewhere else and show how awesome he is.
Him and his one preseason run, and he's gonna.
It was awesome. A great preseason run.
he's one of those guys. Like Like, how in the world is he not better? Like, when you look at his college game, and then he just shows up and he gets the yips and he fumbles and he gets injured and he never pans out. Like, that's what we're projecting to happen with Ronald Jones is what happened to Amir Abdullah. Like, these guys were like the best, and they're like the best player ever for their school. Like, he went, Nebraska, and they've had some really good football players, but he was ridiculous. And he shows up and just epically fails. It's crazy that happens.
They never kept him on the field. They never gave him a chance to actually be good.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
That's why I want them to let him go, because now it's super crowded, but also because someone else might be able to actually know how to handle him.
Sounds like a woman scorned or something. Like, you don't know how to treat her.
Hashtag fear Amir.
Oh my gosh, they need to send him to the Browns because they don't have enough running backs.
Oh, they need help.
When is Detroit's bye week?
6.
I think.
How the hell? Wait. How did you just know that off the top of your head?
Quick answer: he doesn't.
I drafted Matthew Stafford yesterday, and it was that league where the quarterbacks and bye weeks matter, so I had to like memorize them all.
What
Carry
a
on.
strange.
But what were you going to say, Sam? Were you going to say something along the lines of when can you start Carry On? Is it before?
I think I think he takes over after week 6.
Yeah, I am curious though. Like, is it? Obviously can't start him week 1. I doubt, depending on how deep the league is, maybe a flex of sorts, but you got to see something. I don't know. Travis, what's happening?
It just doesn't really matter. It's just, I'm just, every once in a while, my phone opens up and I'm looking at Twitter because I don't know. I just saw something ridiculous and it just made me laugh. That's all. Sorry. Distractions.
Say it.
He's tuned out.
No, it's just this guy. I'm an Auburn fan, and so there's this video. It's just this guy saying me walking past white people in my Nikes, and it's this guy just high stepping.
Major
doing the Luke Falk.
Yeah, just he's the band leader or whatever, and he's just absolutely killing it, just going down the field, just nonstop. He's just And so I was just like, that's ridiculous. But anyway, move along.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no problem.
The last couple things for the Monday night games. We hit on Carry On. Do we care about anyone in Detroit other than Sam Darnold? Oh, excuse me, New York.
New York.
My apologies.
I like Enunwa a lot. He's my kind of late round sleeper. He showed a lot in his sophomore season, led the Jets with 800 some odd yards, 4 touchdowns. He had Fitzpatrick as his quarterback, and then Geno Smith, and then Bryce Petty. So he showed a lot for me in his sophomore season. He got injured last season, lost it. With questions around Robbie Anderson, Terrell Pryor, the tight end situation, I think from the slot that he can produce a decent season this year.
Stumpy, are you trying to tell me that Chris Herndon and Jordan Leggett are not worth getting excited about? Come on.
Well, considering that Clive Walford out caught them in the preseason this season with his 4 catches. Yes, yeah. I'm saying that.
What about my one Sharon Peak share? How's that doing?
How's that doing?
What was surprising was Chad Hansen got cut, and then Adarius Stewart is suspended for 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So everybody kind of sleepers there kind of fell off the map this preseason. So
yeah, I like Enunwa.
You got to feed the crow.
No.
I
just like taking the cheaper option of, if it's the Jets, I'm taking, typically the cheapest option. Just, I don't see why. I don't think there's a clear cut, front runner for wide receiver, for running back. And, we've seen Powell before. We've seen Enunwa before. I think both of those guys are completely worth stashing or drafting late in 15th beyond round, like whatever. Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah. But Powell can get his too.
Yeah, I don't know why they hate him so much. He always does so well, and they just never seem to care about him.
I somehow traded Powell for a first rounder in 2018.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
He did awesome at the end of
2017. Yeah.
So
Sorry, 2016. That was right.
Yeah. So if someone is dumb to think that the Jets are actually make a smart decision and let Bilal Powell play, maybe it's worth it.
Wow, a first. That is
Well, so the offer was a second and a fourth because he really needed running back help, and I just kept pushing. Nope, counter first, and finally he just gave it and gave me the first, and it ended up being the 2018 1.01. So,
oh my word!
So how many times a day do you rub that in his face?
Oh, I probably once every couple. Just so you remember, I got rights to Saquon Barkley because of that, right?
That guy would stop talking to me. That's how much I would. He would quit the league, and I would find him somehow, and
he would quit fantasy.
Yeah,
that's one of those that I'm just. You know what? I need a new hobby.
Yeah, he's gonna join Witness Relocation, and he'll end up getting a Bilal Powell jersey in the mail somehow.
Like PTSD, and just start freaking out.
Just terrorizing.
For his 40th birthday party, Bilal Powell showing up.
Hey, what's going on, man? No, just runs out the window.
Starts stabbing Bilal Powell.
Oh God!
You did this to me.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Bilal Powell jerseys being dropped off by owls, like Harry Potter. Yeah, and just
Want to play?
That's super nerdy of you, by the way.
Yeah. Gotta drop that in there.
Had some good references tonight.
Yes, lots of them. That's it. That's all I've got, Gabe. I'm out of bullets.
Fine.
Deontay Burnett for the Jets.
Who? This one I don't know.
Deontay Burnett was a USC wide
USC.
receiver.
Yeah.
And he was in the Titans camp, and he killed it all season long. And then they kept Cameron Batson, who was Texas Tech guy, killed it at his pro day, ran like a 4.3 or whatever, and he can return kicks. But Deontay Burnett had a better preseason than Batson, just flat out. And now he's on the Jets, so they've got nothing. They get one more injury. Burnett's an immediate starter essentially, so that could be interesting.
What is it? I think it's Trades HQ that keeps talking about Trenton Cannon.
Yep.
I have no idea who that is, but they keep talking about him. So that's a name I've heard of before.
I did not know I already forgot. What is it? Barnett?
Deontay Burnett.
It's disrespectful. Yeah. So disrespectful.
He was
Barnett.
I don't even what position?
Wide receiver.
His name Dion Birdie. What's his name?
I'm going to throw a little bit more shade at the Oakland Raiders, and they're making fake injuries to Chris Warren just to keep him on the IR. Their best running back this preseason. They put him on the IR with his fake knee injury. Pretty upset about that.
I would take you so much more serious if you took the hat off.
Yeah, right, man.
I can't listen to you right now.
No, you can.
I'm kidding.
It's fine.
Right.
No, he muted you. He seriously just can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Well, I get that.
Chris Warren's an interesting guy though, just because he's a running back, but he's like Derrick Henry except possibly bigger. He's like 6'4", 250 pounds, and
I didn't know he was 6'4". Dang,
he's a monster of a man,
dude.
And he had a weird college career. Like he basically didn't do a whole lot. That kind of clashed with the coaching staff down the stretch, and had no business declaring for the NFL draft this past year. I was like, that's one of the worst production profiles I've ever seen in my entire life. But he's got some raw ability and strength, so he's definitely, in my opinion, probably more durable than the AARP club that they have at running back right now. So
that's probably why they held him off for a year.
Be fair to Doug Martin. Doug Martin on the sauce is as durable as anyone.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, let's be fair here.
Okay, is that enough?
Take us home.
It's never enough.
I know.
Never too much. Never too much.
Never gonna give you up.
And now we've had enough.
Yeah, now we
just trying to rickroll it in.
Rick rolling on the whole podcast. Dang.
Can we just end with me singing that whole song, or
Yes,
no?
We will. We
No.
will certainly end with that.
Right, Travis,
because
take
you
us
just
home.
volunteered. So
No, I want
give me a
Travis to end
second,
with.
and
I want Travis to end with the. Rolling. That's the one I want. That's the one I want. Travis.
Oh no!
Let's end the ball with that, please.
And I'm never coming back. Nope.
You got to do the Luke Falk
Yes.
throwing hands in Luke like
Oh, man.
okay. Well, you've waited for so long to say that football is here, and you still can't say that quite yet. It's still 2 days away, so don't say it. But it's almost here. I want some chicken wings.
Yeah.
Coming to Nashville.
Some
Right.
some hot chicken. You into the hot chicken?
I
Into the
am.
hot chicken. Yeah.
Come to Bishops. Bishops.
Yeah.
That's the place.
What's the other one? I know I've had it before, but I can't remember the names.
You don't need to know. It's just Bishops. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood.
That's all
like
that matters.
like
No, Hattie B's. Hattie B's is the famous one. It's like right next to my office.
yeah, Hattie B's. I've been to that one. Yep.
It's like raining and there's lines like a half mile down the road.
I got like I think I got like the 2 or the 3 on the scale of 1 to 5, and did not feel good for 24 hours. That was a bad idea.
That's about right. Yeah.
Yeah. So never touching a 3 again, or even a 2. Like,
Does the
so
scale go
long.
negative?
I might
could
just
probably
like
handle that.
I might just like start scraping it off, like whatever.
Can you get some water to rinse this sauce off with, please?
Yeah. After we get off the air, we can talk about how I went to the ER because of hot sauce.
Oh, wow.
Oh, the
Hopefully,
after.
it wasn't because of the way out.
No. Luckily.
You always gotta have outhouse talk, don't you?
Brand, baby.
At the end of the day, you need me.
All right. Well, segue to that. Rich or Russ or whatever the hell your name is, would you like to say any words as we say goodbye?
What a doggy do, baby.
You've been sitting on that one all show, or what?
Actually, I just had to remember, like, what the hell did he say? Oh my god. No. Oh, thanks for having me on. This is always awesome. I'll be back in another 3 weeks, whether you want me here or not.
Book it.
No, this show was awesome. Thanks for having me on. It was fun. Thanks for having Stompy on, because Stompy's awesome. Travis, I just met you. You seem okay.
Thanks. Appreciate
You're
it.
mediocre.
But that's it. I love you guys.
Did you say your handle already, or everyone probably knows you by now?
I mean, we've said Outhouse enough that I figure, I'm at Dynasty Outhouse. The
day.
Trade Addicts podcast. Listen to me because I need the ego boost.
Perfect.
But
enough
day or
for
but
you.
night, anytime. I don't know where that came from. It was so good.
Good night, everybody.
I'm gonna leave myself again. I'm sorry.
_ Stumpy.
Yeah. So you can actually call me Stompy or Stump Dick or Stimpy. You can. Oh, I think I killed
somebody.
I can't
Killed
do it,
Dad.
man.
You can find me at FF Stompy. I'll be writing this season for the Fantasy Authority, doing a weekly article. I'll be doing some IDP stuff for IDP guys, and every once in a while I'll be writing something for the fantasy football franchise, the F3 pod. So,
Welcome to the franchise.
yep.
What up, Gee?
You know-
What up, Nick? We see you.
All right. Now that I have sort of a voice back, that cough really hurt. Travis Dismay,
Travis Dismay.
straight out of Cashville.
Straight out of Cashville, man. I gotta add that to my podcast intro or outro somehow. But yeah, so speaking of podcasts, you can check out the Dynasty Life pod every week with me and Justin and Andrew and our great guests that we tend to have on. Actually, I'll have to have some of you guys on here in the near future for sure. But just want to shout out to the DLF guys, Dynasty League Football, great work there. Shout out to the Fantasy Authority, who gave me my first opportunity, and I do some editing there mainly, and gonna actually start doing some college DFS takes on video a couple times a week too, just because there's not enough of that out there, and it just came back like a week ago. And then I'm doing a weekly piece for DLF for Devy stuff, college and future prospects analysis, and then also doing a weekly piece for Fantasy Pros this year too. It's kind of a DLF guest piece there with them. So I'm going to be a little bit busy, and that it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm not going to sleep much, but that's okay. But thank you for having me on. This was a blast.
Absolutely. Yeah, you certainly are fully loaded. And I think the college DFS is a really good idea for you to cover. Yeah, you're definitely one of my most respected Devy follows. So good luck with all of that this year. Thank you, all three of you. J Mike's way better at this than me, so I'm going to carry it over to him so he can actually thank all of you, because I don't do this.
I don't do this.
You were doing great, Gabe.
Yeah. Gabe's the best. Gabe is the best. But please excuse my audio issues this week. Right before we started to record, I just saw that the USB port that goes into my microphone, it is still stuck inside the actual microphone from the last time I used it and didn't recognize it. So that's awesome. Anywho, to our guests who joined us this week, Russ, Sam, Travis, thank you guys very much. To everyone in the chat, thank you guys for hanging out with us. We appreciate you. It's always a good time here on Tuesday nights here at the Open Bar. On Twitter, you can find us, the actual handle for the show, at the Open Bar FP, as in the Open Bar Fake Pigskin. I'm on Twitter at JMikeCheck, at JMICCheck. The season is here. It's about to be lit. You'll find us here every Tuesday from henceforth, now and forevermore, until forever meets never. Travis, real fast, before we run out, just one name, real fast. Who is currently your wide receiver one for this upcoming college receiver class?
That would be AJ Brown.
Thank you.
For Ole Miss. He's my bae.
The slot sensation, AJ Brown.
Yeah.
That's all I've got, Gabe. You can take us home.
A lot of love for I'm going to pronounce his name wrong. Keneal Harry.
N'Keal.
What is it? N'Keal. I switched the N and the K.
So many people do that. I never understand why.
Same thing with Martavius. Where's that U?
I don't like that. That one really bothers me. But once I should be better about all that. But so it's N'Keal Harry. A lot of love for him lately. Is he up there too for you, Travis?
Yeah, he's up there for most everyone. There's like a half dozen guys that are really intriguing. I really hope Brian Edwards comes out, because he could end up being my number one, just because he's a physical freak. He topped out at like 22 miles an hour this summer, has like a 40-plus-inch vertical, and just an absolute monster. Breakout age of like 17.8 or 17.9. Everything you want to see from a production standpoint and in his offense, and the limitations that are there at South Carolina, and a ridiculous athletic specimen to go with it. So he's another name to watch.
All right. Well, I guess we could just reopen the bar, start talking Devy, right? We got wide receivers.
I've heard of some of these names before.
All right.
Get it.
No.
No,
thank
Gabe.
you.
Sorry, real fast. I know.
Yeah. What?
Joke for this. One of Travis's co-hosts on the Dynasty Life, Justin McCaslin. He and I are in the same division for the Scott Fish Bowl. I just want to let it be known, Travis, if Justin happens to listen to this, or if he doesn't, please carry the message that I'm looking forward to kicking his rear end all up and down the Fish Bowl and back again in the JD and Turk division. I just want that to be known. No, I like Justin a lot. He's good people. But
I'll tell him right now.
I want to get some smack talk in,
right now.
just before the season starts. So tell him. You tell him right
I'm
now.
starting this fire right now, Travis.
Right now.
Talk slower. I need to get every word here.
Justin, I love you, and you suck.
Yeah, so Scott Fish, if you're listening, I'm going to take you down in the Doctor Who division.
Sorry. Go
Oh
ahead.
God! Now we're gonna go around the horn of. Okay, that's
Quick shout out
about
to my
enough,
mama.
guys.
She's awesome.
I'm unique, and so I roll with it.
So I had to roll with it.
All right. Thank you all. Thank you, Sam, for the show sheet.
You are welcome. Thank you for playing.
We would have had nothing. We will see you all next week after a full week of NFL 16 games, no buys. It's gonna be a lituation. Don't make sure to never let me say that again, guys. Put your drinks. I'm FF Man Bun, part of the brand, baby. Put your drinks up. A little cheers to the old camera. If you didn't see that and you're hearing us through podcast form, you make sure and come back and hang out with us next week, 9:30 Eastern, Tuesdays, Booze Day, and doses.